So the message of the cross is a theme for retreats that I really have learned a lot about over the years. It came to me when we get a cross. The sisters of the congregation, I don't know if you can see it or not, we get a little cross, and it's a plain cross. It is a very important sign for us of our profession and of our commitment to life. The cross is in the universal consciousness. There's an awareness that life is cruciform. Life is cross-shaped. And it has been written about many times, especially in Christianity, because of the cross itself. There is an awareness that joy and pain come together and they intersect in our lives. Very often something that is a hard thing turns out to be a blessing. It's sometimes not easy to see it at the time, but it comes clear later. And I think many times we recognize that in the cross we can see God is reaching out to us to enter into the deepest part of us. So God is immanent in our lives. And God is also transcendent. God is beyond our abilities to understand. We can never fully comprehend God, nor can we ever give God one name that sums everything up. The word God sometimes understates things about who God is. So there's a transcendence and an up and an immanence, a down. And there is also the crossbar where the arms of the cross extend, and all of these lines really are infinite in all directions. So that when we make the sign of the cross at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, often people do it at the beginning and end of the day, it represents a very significant beauty in life. The up and the down and the reaching out, the Father, Son, and Spirit, the Creator, Redeemer, the Sanctifier, all in one, intersecting at that cross part. And that is, for many people, the heart of God. The heartbeat of God is what we can listen to when we pay attention to the cross carefully. God is reaching into the depths of all creation, including the very core of our hearts. And we are also longing for God from the deepest part of ourselves to the complete holy mystery of all creation. We listen to the heartbeat of God because we want to learn to see as God does. God is cross-shaped like reality, and Jesus is cross-shaped. Jesus is shaped like God in reconciliation, embrace, communion, and vulnerability. In Philippians 2, we read, Christ Jesus, because he was in the form of God, did not regard equality with God as something to be exploited, but emptied himself. Some years ago, there used to be these little posters and statues saying, how much do I love you? And I don't know if any of you others might remember, it's a long time ago, but it was, how much do I love you? I love you this much. So that the shape of the cross was evident in it, and the arms went out in both directions, infinitely all around the world. That's what I think Jesus does on the cross. That the arms are extended and they go infinitely, they embrace all that exists in love and inclusivity. And it's the most vulnerable position we can have for our bodies. It is open. We are totally defenseless in that posture, and it is all inclusive. Jesus is the face of the mercy of God. Jesus is cross-shaped. And as followers of Jesus and in communion with Jesus, we too are called to live shaped like the cross. The cross symbolizes transformation, slowly and painstakingly taking place within us and around us to guide us on our journey to wholeness. Pain is life, Charles Lamb wrote. The sharper the pain, the more evidence of life. Pain, we learn as life goes on, is simply one more entrance into life, into a deeper life, one more challenge to change things. With the grace of God, we move toward healing our soul wound and growing in wholeness. Richard Rohr, in his book, Falling Upward, supports the insight of Julian of Norwich. There is mercy in the fall, and there is mercy in getting up again. I'm going to say that again. There is mercy in the fall, and there is mercy in getting up again. These awarenesses of both our brokenness and God's mercy happen as a result of our life experience, our particular personality, our circumstances, and a host of other factors. One of those factors is change itself. Often change brings us pain. While change is also a quality of growth, change is what happens to us. We have no choice about the change, no control about the circumstances. The pandemic illustrates this reality, and also personal illnesses unemployment, all those sorts of things are changes that happen to us. Sometimes we choose, sometimes we don't. But change changes things. Change happens. People today, as a result of the pandemic, for example, are facing issues like fear, illness, death, unemployment, frustration, bankruptcy, and a host of other challenges, none of which were chosen. So we find that change is different from transition. Change occurs in the outer world. It happens to us, while transition occurs in the inner world. It is our ability, or our attempt anyway, to integrate change into our lives. And when we do that, we can move forward into a new reality with renewed meaning and purpose. Having purpose is really important for us. And in Romans, we find the famous quote, "Now hope that sees for itself is not hope. For who hopes for what one sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait with endurance." So don't be surprised if in your journey, endurance comes and goes a little bit sometimes, and so does hope. It's hope can be colored with doubt. And Father Larry Gillick, SJ, he advises that to pray with your doubts. They are holy invitations, he says. Pray with your doubts. They are holy invitations. The post-Easter Gospels make it clear that doubt and fear are normal and may, in fact, lead us to deeper appreciation of the Paschal mystery. Last Sunday's Gospel springs to mind immediately. When Jesus shows Thomas his wounds, Thomas makes one of the greatest acts of faith in all of the Gospels as he declares on from his knees, "My Lord and my God." Sometimes we often call Thomas Doubting Thomas. Interestingly, though, he makes the most profound declaration of faith by seeing the wounds of Jesus. The wounds of Jesus. And this coming Sunday, tomorrow or tonight, if you worship in the evening vigil, in Emmaus, it's the story of Emmaus, and Jesus is once again showing his wounds as a proof of that he is who he is, the face of the love and the mercy of God, cross-shaped. And by his wounds, we are healed. To restore hope, though, means that we need to integrate healing and hope into our daily lives. Fatalism or lack of hope leads us to resist healing. We can be dejected, frustrated, and hopeless. When Jesus asks us, as he asked the poor man waiting for 38 years at the pool of Bethsaida, Jesus says, "Do you want to be healed? Do you want to be well again?" When Jesus is asking us that question, how will we, as individuals and as members of a global community, global citizens, how will we respond to that?